What's up, everyone? Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I'm Denise Salcedo, and today we are going to be chatting all about the AEW Dynamite Anniversary Show, the October 6th edition. And we got so much to get into, guys. We got tons of news. To be honest, I am completely feeling very, very overwhelmed right now with everything that we had go down with AEW. We also had some additional breaking news with the return of AJ Lee in professional wrestling and so much more. So we're going to get into all of that here today. Of course, we're going to kick things off with AEW Dynamite, and we're going to run through the entire show, talk about the return, ladies and gentlemen, the return of Hangman Page, and so much more. We also got a new championship bout announced, and we're going to get into all of that right now, everyone. So first of all, welcome to the stream. Also, for those of you who normally watch on Twitch, we are only live on YouTube right now because I got disconnected from the Twitch stream and I didn't have enough time to reconnect. So I am only live right now on YouTube. So we're going to go ahead and just roll with it. And then hopefully by next week, I will essentially be back on Twitch. By this Friday, I'll be back on Twitch once I get all of that stream stuff like figured out, etc., etc. All right, guys. So here we go. Let's jump into AEW, the anniversary show. We had a pretty exciting show today. I thought that the way the show kicked off was absolutely phenomenal. I thought the way that it ended was phenomenal. The stuff in between, I wasn't necessarily crazy about. I thought that this was kind of like, I saw this kind of like a show where it's like, it was good in the beginning and good in the end, but I thought the middle was just not that great. In fact, a lot of what happened in the middle of this show kind of took me out of this show. If it wasn't for the way it ended and the way that it started, I almost feel like if it wasn't for those two matches, I would have kind of felt a little bit disappointed with AEW Dynamite today, especially considering that it was an anniversary show. So I will say, yeah, like it was not that great in the middle, but we'll get into all of that and I'll tell you guys why I thought so, etc. But here we go. We got a super chat from Reggie Simmons to kick us off here today. Reggie sends in a comment saying, time for the best post-show game for the best pro wrestling show. Get it, Denise. Thank you so much, Reggie, for sending in the super chat and for also pumping me up, man, right before the show, guys. Daniel Zambrano says, what the heck show was Denise watching? This show was amazing. We got Karen Nova who says, I thought it was a pretty good all throughout. The Jericho Lambert stuff is zzz for me, though. Yeah, I have to agree on that, too. We got people bringing up some of the promos that we got, some of the women's wrestling we got. Julian says, I expected too much. We'll get into, guys. We'll get into it. We'll get into all of this. So here we go. Let's kick things off with the opening match, which was literally 20 minutes of like a lot of fun. All right. So we had the Super Elite, which was the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole taking on the team of Bryan Danielson, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage. And this match was, it ended like around 5:20 and it literally got started the second the show went on the air. They didn't do any any entrances or anything like that, which I'm glad that we kind of just started with all the guys already in the ring because I thought that it just gave them way more time to actually go out there and put on a very exciting match. And I kind of tweeted out there, I put it out there in the universe that I really enjoyed this match, but I had a couple of people bringing up the botches that we saw in this match. And there were a couple of botches, especially with the Young Bucks during this, that there was one particular spot that did not look good because of the camera angle and it just looked really bad. But aside from that, I really got to put over this match because I thought that they did so much. And before I get into like the moments that I particularly loved, I need to take a second here and really kind of talk about the guys that were in this match because looking at this and looking at all the guys in the ring, it kind of felt a little symbolic to me. So this is the anniversary show. So maybe I had a different lens on while watching this, but in the ring, we kind of had a mixture of like different people that represent different things in AEW's like timeline. So you have like your young stars, your young up and coming names. You have, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Those are some people that you can say are definitely their young talent, their young up and coming stars. And then at the same time, you already have your established AEW roster in the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Obviously, they're already established AEW stars. And then on top of that, you had, a bunch of big signees that AEW recently got with Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, and Christian Cage. So it was really cool to kind of see a little bit of everything that AEW is offering to the table, all in this one match. I almost felt like each guy kind of represented something different from AEW, which I thought was pretty cool. And that was one of the things that, to me, like immediately watching this match was like, it just like hit me in the face with it, where I was like, okay, this feels pretty symbolic. Let's get into some super chats, because we got one from Taylor Cannon, who says, "You're awesome, Denise. What a great show. Opening match was crazy and main event was awesome. I look forward to your shows every week. Thank you for all of the great content." Speaking of great content, guys, I am overflowing right now with content. I got stuff on the back burner where I'm like trying to find a day to put it out there. I'm literally going to be bringing out tons of content. Today was just like, it was crazy. But thank you so much to Taylor Cannon for always coming in here and showing some support. Let's see what we got here. We send in your thoughts on how you guys felt about this opening match, and then again, we'll go into it a little bit more. But we got a comment from R. Riggs, who says, "Awesome opener. We know who the guys are, so no need for intros. A little sloppy in parts, but a great match. I think Luchasaurus looked like a top star here." I do think we need to take a second and really put over Luchasaurus, because again, pretty much every single guy in this match, aside from Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, like they're already big stars, okay? And we already know that, Christian Cage, he already has, so many years in the business. We already know that. Kenny Omega, we already know why we like him. Same thing with the Bucks, Bryan and Adam. Okay, we all get it. But with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, them being the newer faces, the newer talent, obviously there's still so much more there to be seen. Now, Jungle Boy, when you think of guys that are, some of the young talent that has really gotten over in AEW, you think of Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy is instantly one of those first names that you think about. So great, cool. You think about Jungle Boy, you think about Darby Allin, and several others, right? But I feel like there needs to be a bigger conversation now about Luchasaurus, because although Luchasaurus hasn't necessarily been put in the same spots as Jungle Boy or as a Darby Allin, right? He hasn't been necessarily been given like those spotlight moments, but every single time that we get Luchasaurus in the ring, like he ends up being one of the main standouts of the match. And this is not the first time that I'm out here saying this. Like, this is something that I feel that I've said before. So now I want to beg I want to put it out there. Luchasaurus needs to start being part of this bigger conversation when we think of young talents that AEW has successfully gotten over. I remember being in that crowd for, AEW All Out and seeing the crowd reaction to Jurassic Express. And that really is a testament to how well AEW has built them up. So I do think, though, that there needs to be a little bit more, we need to put Luchasaurus over just a little bit more, because, man, he's been a very, very impressive here to say, even though he is 50 million years old. All right, guys, we got a super chat from Christopher Marino, who says, "The match was fine. The ending was the same elite ending I have seen 50 times. I didn't mind it." Again, we'll get into that for just a second. For those of you guys who are asking about Twitch, I'm not on Twitch right now. So you guys all know that there was a Twitch leak or something, right? So that happened. I'm thinking that like all the creators changed. It was basically like on Twitter, I saw that people were recommending for like Twitch creators to change their stream keys and change their passwords and change all of that information. So I didn't realize that prior to this, my StreamYard lost connection to the F4W Twitch channel. So I have to essentially get that information back and reconnect the channels. And I didn't realize that until probably a minute minute before going live, so I didn't have a chance to connect the Twitch stream. So I will do that back on Friday, and Friday I will be streaming on both YouTube and Twitch. So yeah, sorry guys, I didn't realize that my StreamYard had been disconnected from the Twitch stream. So I'll reach out to Tony and get all of that settled and have that resolved by Friday. So thank you for those who I normally watch on Twitch who made it over here. But we got another super chat from Ray718 who says, "Hi Denise, I just wanted to say thank you for getting me through the pandemic, and my 26th birthday is tomorrow, and this was an amazing episode of AEW to start my birthday." Dude, Ray, man, happy birthday, happy early birthday. I hope you have an awesome birthday, and I just hope eat some cake, man, make a wish, and I hope it comes true. Thank you so much for showing me some love here on this channel. We got a massive super chat from James Boris. Thank you so much to James, man. James says, "Hangman, what a nuclear pop for Hangman. I legit scream when Ghost Town triumphed him. Great ladder match. Avalanche Deadeye through the table was amazing. I really like Shida and Deeb, but the crowd was flat and I felt bad for these ladies." So we'll talk about that more in just a short minute here, but man, Hangman Page, when they announced this casino ladder match, and when they announced obviously that we were going to have a Joker and somebody be part of this, a lot of people were predicting that Adam Page was essentially going to be, the Joker in this spot. And everybody was putting it out there. Right? But I think for some reason, even though he was the person that a lot of people were expecting here, for me, even reading this and knowing this, it still felt like a very big surprise, because I think part of me was like, well, I really don't know how long he's going to be out for. I have no idea. Part of me was already expecting him at Grand Slam. So when that didn't happen, I think I was thinking more of in terms of the future. So for some reason, even though I knew there was this huge possibility that it would be him, I still saw it as a really nice surprise. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that that's the way that it went down, and we'll talk about that more in a second. But thank you so much to James for this very kind super chat that we got here. We have another super chat from Daniel Zambrano who says, "Luchasaurus can't go for long matches. He does the same thing every time, and it's a great hot tag, but they are protecting him and keeping him special." And that's fine. That's the thing. If, for example, if somebody is limited and there's only so much that they can do, that's not necessarily I think a negative. I think it's a way where you can just work around it. And they sort of have been working around that with Luchasaurus. So I personally feel like we can see a lot from him. This is from Question the Mark, who says, "Luchasaurus is much better in tag matches. It protects some of his shortcomings as a singles guy, although I would still like to see him with someone like Kenny Omega." And I think if he's in the ring with somebody that can, somebody like a Kenny Omega, I think that we can definitely get a really impressive match there. And let me make sure that I got all the super chats. 1 second. I'm going to just make sure that I didn't skip anybody. Nope, I did not. Perfect. Awesome. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the top moments of this match, because we did kind of talk a little bit about, the symbolism of all of these guys in here. We put over Luchasaurus and all of that. But I mean, this match was just a bunch of back and forth action, okay? I don't care what anyone says. Call me a spot monkey lover. I'm right here, man, because we saw a lot of this in this match. And I mean, I literally have paragraphs of things that happen in this match, but I'm just going to go over a few here because I don't want to just be running a bunch of moves by you guys. Literally watch the match. You will enjoy it if you did not already see it. But some of the portions of this match, which I really, really enjoyed, was the second we started to get to see Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega opposite of each other in the ring. As we all know, they had a banger of a match, okay? We already know that, okay? We know that they're great together in the ring, but we had this huge pop for these two guys the second they were opposite of each other in the ring. Immediately, they start to exchange forearms between one another, and the crowd is definitely hot with him. We see Bryan get him with a lariat, then a running drop kick, and then multiple yes kicks, and then a hurricanrana from the top rope. And then we see Kenny Omega, we see Jungle Boy running in. Kenny Omega hits him with a Snapdragon suplex, and then Daniel Bryan ends up getting Kenny Omega in a suplex, locks Kenny Omega in a submission, but then Nick Jackson breaks it up with a swanton. So like literally it was just like one guy coming in doing something else, another guy coming in and doing something else. We see Adam Cole hit Luchasaurus with a super kick. He goes for the Panama Sunrise, but Luchasaurus grabs him by the throat and chokeslams him and Kenny Omega. So that was a really fun moment as well. We see Luchasaurus hit a moonsault on the outside to Kenny and Adam Cole. We see Jungle Boy do a hurricanrana on one of the Bucks. It happened so fast I didn't even get a chance to check which Buck it was. Then we saw Adam Cole essentially tease a dive, but he doesn't do it. Instead, he does the Adam Cole baby thing. Luchasaurus comes from behind, choke slams him, moonsaults him, and then goes for the pin, but ends up getting a 2 count here. And then we get the finish with the Elite essentially super kicking Bryan Danielson and then doing the BTE trigger on Jungle Boy, and Adam Cole pins Jungle Boy for the win. And literally, guys, that was just like the last couple of like minutes in this match. There was still like everything else that happened. So they really did a lot during this match. And I kind of felt like they went out there and really just gave it all they could. So man, I was completely here for this. This was, I feel, I don't even know. I was going to say favorite match of the night, but I really enjoyed that main event. So, I think I'm still going to say that I really liked the opening match, but the main event was really up there. Like they are practically tied with one another because we saw some sick spots in the main event. But we got a super chat from Charlie Sanchez who just says Adam Page and a cowboy emoji. Thank you so much to Charlie for sending in a super chat and expressing your love of Hangman Adam Page. And let's go through a couple more here. This one, we got so many cool stuff written on. We got so many different comments in here. Basically, everybody putting this over. This one is from Bobby, who says Bryan Danielson needs to lose the diving headbutt. My heart is in my throat every time. We got a couple people bringing that up because we had Bobby bringing that up. We also have Question the Mark saying, I was surprised Danielson did the diving headbutt as well, especially with his injury history. Well, we have Haj Gulashi, who says the flying headbutt is not the most dangerous thing to his head. LOL, it hits like a pillow on the opponent, says Haj Gulashi. Tony Solomon also brings in his 2 cents saying, guys, his head doesn't even touch. Relax. All right, so we definitely got a lot of different opinions on that. To be honest, it's not something where, like, here's the thing, like, Bryan Danielson, he knows what he's doing, okay? Like he knows what he's doing. And I trust that whatever decisions he makes are the right ones. He himself knows his situation, knows whatever his health history and medical stuff is. So whatever he chooses to do, I trust that he knows what he's doing. So I'm not like, I don't get like cringy or anything like that around anything that I've seen Bryan Danielson do. So I really do not like worry in that sense here. But here we go. Let's go ahead and move on from this. We're moving on to the CM Punk promo here. Man, these CM Punk promos have been a lot of fun. The people, man, my favorite thing is seeing the people in different cities every time AEW hits a new city because as you guys know, CM Punk has recently just joined AEW. So it's not like he's been here for like a year by any means. It's just been a couple of months. And so like they're going to all of these new places that haven't yet experienced the CM Punk entrance. So it's almost like each new city that they hit, everybody kind of want to like, they all want to pay their like respect to CM Punk. So you get these huge reactions for him in all these different cities. And it feels kind of cool. It's kind of like, oh, hey, like we're in Philadelphia today. Cool. It's your turn to absolutely pop for CM Punk. And that's one of the things that I've definitely been noticing on, when it comes to CM Punk here. He comes out, and one of my favorite parts, though, is that when he comes out, he does a dive onto the crowd from like the ramp. But for some reason, like there was just like, to me, I almost thought he wasn't going to make it because there was like so much space between the ramp and the barricade and the people. Like, bro, when he went for it, I was like, oh my God, please do not like fall right now, because I kind of felt like I just didn't think he was going to make it to the other side. Like watching this, I was like, man, protect your tailbone on that barricade, protect it. But anyways, he makes it. He has a great time. He's cheering. There's a kid in the front row with dressed as Orange Cassidy. He's in the cosplay, looks great, looks exactly like a mini Orange Cassidy. And CM Punk whispers something in his ear before the match. Before the promo. After the promo, he ends up giving the kid his shoes, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. But anyway, so CM Punk comes out and he basically thanks the fans as always. He talks about living in Philadelphia for 3 years, and he says that while he was here, he ate, he breathed, he slept. Everything his whole entire life was pro wrestling, and basically said that Philadelphia gave him, a lot. And then he says that like it really wasn't like he was a rich guy, but it wasn't necessarily money that made him rich. It was essentially more of like spiritually, he was rich with like more of like a spiritual meaning of the term rich here. Then he starts asking the crowd, like, do you want to see me in a match, or do you want me to get you cheesecakes or cheesesteaks or something like that? And so this goes on for a little while. I kind of I was a little bit confused when he started going off about the cheesecakes and the cheesesteaks. Like, I know Philadelphia cheesesteaks are like a thing, but either way, I kind of got a little lost there in this promo. But in the end, he makes a interesting challenge for Rampage. This Friday, he challenges Daniel Garcia. And I gotta say that even though, people have been, saying nothing but great stuff about Daniel Garcia, I feel like I've said nothing but great stuff about Daniel Garcia from what I recall. Whatever, right? That's not the point. The point is, like, damn, Daniel Garcia is literally getting a major opportunity here to wrestle CM Punk on Rampage. Like, if I'm Daniel Garcia, and obviously, he knew this going into this, but if I'm listening to this promo, I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, this is such a huge opportunity for him. And it is becoming more and more clear what CM Punk intends to bring to the AEW roster. And that really is working with that younger talent. And I mean, he said it right from the start, and it seems to me like he's definitely sticking to that for sure. So that's going to be a really interesting matchup. If I'm Daniel Garcia, I'd be over the damn moon right now. So good stuff there with CM Punk, and we're going to be looking forward to that match at Rampage. Mr. EMJ has a theory and says that CM Punk whispered to the Orange Cassidy kid not to sell the Jordans on eBay. Yeah, I hope not. It wouldn't look too good. Like, that's something that, like, man, as a child, if you get an opportunity like that, oh man, save those for life. Once in a lifetime opportunity right there. So I really hope that his parents or him don't end up selling the shoes, And let's see what else we got through the rest of this as we go through some more comments here. Let me go through a couple more. This one's from Devil Within, who says, I would have wanted Garcia versus Danielson first, but this will be dope. Dude, this is like crazy. Like, I didn't see this happening. I really, really thought this was crazy. Andrew Cook says, I never get tired of Punk's promos. Great to see him. So happy him and Daniel Garcia should be great. Justin Martin points out that this is a heck of a moment for Daniel Garcia and should also be having a good match on Rampage. The Cooge97 says Garcia getting some quality work in there. We got a lot of people basically pretty excited about this match. So that should tell you that AEW knows their audience if they know that Daniel Garcia is the guy to put up in this match with CM Punk, because this could have really been anybody. Honestly, this could have been anybody. So the fact that it was him seems to me like they're listening to the people here and, giving this guy an opportunity there. Alrighty, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on. So after this, we had a segment where Arn Anderson, goes to Cody's home and he essentially starts a fire in his backyard. He dumps one of Cody's suits in it, and Cody comes out to confront him. Arn essentially demands that Cody takes out his like really pretty pink tie, nice pink silk, and he wants to like throw it into the fire. Cody obviously doesn't want to do that, so Arn like literally just slaps him across the face, and then Cody ends up like throwing the tie into the fire himself. So as you guys all know, last week's, comments and stories that Arn Anderson made during that promo essentially went viral. Like, people were loving this. I was reading about Arn Anderson like pretty much for days on my Twitter timeline. It was all I was seeing, like non-stop. So basically what we're getting here is, once again, Arn is basically pointing out that Cody is, he's too Hollywood now. He's not focused. And this is just proof of that. So to me, it seems like he's trying to get him, to be a different version of himself and what he is right now, because he brings up the reality TV shows and all of that. So it's like, yeah, Cody is officially too Hollywood for Arn Anderson. So I thought this was pretty funny. I thought this was a clever way to kind of build off of what they did last week here. We got people basically just putting over that they really enjoyed when Arn slapped Cody. That was really good stuff there. Cody essentially lost his way, and now Arn is officially trying to get him back to, to like a stronger version of Cody, I think, too. Not just like the old Cody, but like a stronger, more like manly version. That's like the best way that I can probably describe that here. We got Karen Nova saying, Cody asking if he's going to shoot him popped me, to be honest. Mike Brooklyn predicts that he's going to burn down his house next. Daver Hoda says that Arn is great in this role. He's definitely gotten himself over, okay, with this whole, Glock thing. It's definitely been working. So now, guys, before we jump into Bobby Fish and Sammy Guevara for the TNT title, AEW is going to not be airing next week on Wednesday. So on the 13th, we are not going to be having an AEW Dynamite. Instead, it's going to be taking place on Saturday, the 16th. Now, my belief, I thought that they were supposed to be doing the show on October 23rd on that Saturday. Now, I'm not entirely sure. A bunch of people were telling me that they think it's 2 Saturdays. I'm not for sure on this. I have to go and like double check this, but I guess there is like this possibility that they are going to be doing 2 Saturdays in a row. Again, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I am for sure positive, because they announced it, that we are going to be having Dynamite on October 16th on a Saturday. So I kind of hate when it's on Saturdays, to be honest. It really throws off my schedule, and then I have nothing to do on Wednesdays, which kind of sucks, but whatever. We're going to get a show on Saturday, so that should be fun. Yes, this is due to hockey. Now, I do not watch hockey. I do not know anything about hockey, so I can't tell you anything else other than it has to do with hockey. I can't give you any sort of explanation other than that. Alrighty, guys, here we go. Let's get into the TNT title match. So when we were doing, what was it? The Friday show was when it broke. Essentially, the news broke that Bobby Fish would be Sammy Guevara's first opponent. While defending his TNT championship for the very first time after defeating Miro. So this is his first defense. Bobby Fish was definitely not somebody that I expected to essentially be the first guy to get this, shot at the title. But just because I didn't expect it did not mean that I at least had some sort of interest in this. So going into this, I was kind of like, all right, cool. It's not like I don't know Bobby Fish. I've seen Bobby Fish's work so much in WWE. Great. So let's see what he's going to bring to the table here. Are we going to see anything different? And if so, how different is it going to be? I will say that I thought that this match was perfectly fine. It did no harm. It was enjoyable. I didn't think it was like an OMG match whatsoever, but it was fine. I liked it. They really kicked off this match in high gear. Guevara kicks things up like super fast during this match. He's doing leapfrogs. He's hitting him with an enziguri kick. And then one of my favorite spots in this match is Sammy Guevara goes up and he's like balancing on the top rope, and Bobby Fish literally just like kicks, I think he kicks like either the legs or the rope he either kicks Sammy's legs or he kicks the rope, whatever. The point is that he kicks it and then Sammy just like literally falls to the ground. I love this. I thought this was such an awesome spot, very aggressive, and exactly what I want to see from Bobby Fish. We end up going to a commercial break. We come back, they do a little bit, they go back and forth a little bit more, and eventually Sammy gets the win here. Now, this is for me where it goes downhill, guys. Thank you, guys. Our Riggs points out that he kicked the calf of Sammy Guevara. Thank you very much. So I like this match, okay? That it was a perfectly fine match. Obviously a very different opponent for Sammy Guevara since Bobby Fish is not part of the AEW roster. So it was an unexpected and different opponent for Sammy Guevara. Now, this is the part of the show that I was completely what you call 0% interested, okay? And the last time I said this, I got in trouble, man. The last time I said I was 0% interested in something, Twitter came for me, and they came for me hard. For those of you guys who remember, that's when I said I wasn't interested in Malakai Black versus Brock Anderson. I still stand by that, by the way. I still stand by that, even though I got in trouble on Twitter and had to delete my tweet, guys. Whatever. Anyways, I'm sorry, guys, but I have 0.0000% interest right now in this whole American Top Team thing. All right, I'm out, guys. I am out. OUT, out the door, done. I didn't like this, guys. I didn't like this. And you all know, if you've been on my shows and you've been listening to me, talk about, Dan Lambert and Man of the Year, for the most part, I've been enjoying it. Like, I really like Dan Lambert as a heel. I think he pisses people off. It's fun to see. I like the silly stuff that he says. I'm all here for that. However, I was kind of hoping that this would elevate Sammy, that this would elevate Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page as a team, as the Men of the Year. I thought that was like the point. And obviously it still is the point. But now this has become so convoluted and so congested with members of the American Top Team that for me, in my opinion, it's taken away from what I thought was the original intention of this, which was to really give some actual substance and an actual storyline to the Men of the Year. So for me, I'm just like, could care less about this. And what I thought was really bad here, so post-match, we see the Men of the Year and the American Top Team coming out, and they all essentially surround Sammy Guevara. Okay, then they go in for the attack. And this is such a bad attack because, these are all guys that, they don't know how to do worked punches, okay? The punches were so god awful, like terrible. It just made everything look so fake. And I did not like that whatsoever. It completely shot my interest in this and took me out of this completely. So it's like, we know these guys, obviously they're legit fighters and all of that, and that's all great. But when you're doing worked punches, this was not working for me. This was very, very bad. So I was not a fan of this. They do announce that we're going to be seeing the Inner Circle versus Men of the Year. And we're also going to be seeing Jorge Masvidal on ringside, so that's going to be fun. They're going to do that in Miami, so that should be a good time, I guess. To be honest, I'm just not feeling the storyline, guys. And if you're here and if you're a fan of this storyline, great. I'm so happy for you, but this is not for me, guys. So I'm sorry if people get upset by this, but this was not good, and I'm just not a fan. And they can definitely, persuade me and change my mind otherwise, but right now it's a hard pass for me. So thoughts, guys. Send in your thoughts. What did you think of all of this? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let's see what we got here. All right, let's see what we got. I'm gonna go through a couple of these comments here, and I'm gonna go okay, everybody's just saying that, to be honest, and say my honest opinions. Karen Nova still talking about the Brock Anderson stands out in full force. Dude, I'm warning you guys all now. Never say anything bad about Brock Anderson, because the stands will come for you. They're out there. They are out there. Anyway, so we got Thomas who says he agrees. We got Mad Mercenary saying it was the weakest angle on the show without a question. Sam 3 says Dan Lambert is over. He is. He is legitimately, like, he's the only thing that is keeping me somewhat interested, holding me on by a very, very tiny thread here. Joe, the video editor, says, I like Dan Lambert, but I get that the build has been rocky. It's been very, very rocky. Very, very rocky. And let's go through a couple more comments here. This one's from Daniel, who says, the crowd was way into this, and I'm stoked as F to see Junior Dos Santos goddamn wrestle. This was good for me. It's building the men of the year. Give it time. Oh, don't give me the give it timeline. No, Daniel, no. I'm sorry, but this has been going for a while now. This is not something that started last week or even the week before that. It's been a while. We got a comment from Church of Platinum. It says men of the year deserve better. I mean, like, for the star name, I get it. I get why they're doing it, but I just, like, I'm out, guys. I'm out on this one here. Let's go through a couple more comments, and let me get through a couple more. We got a super chat from James Barris. It says, Paige and Sky don't need mouthpieces, aren't even MMA guys themselves. I agree. I don't think they necessarily need mouthpieces. I think that they're both perfectly capable of doing their own promo work. But again, I am a fan of Dan Lambert, and I am a fan of what he's bringing to the table. So I don't hate the pairing. Like, I really don't hate the pairing. It's just everything else for me is just like, no interest. Joe, the video editor, says, I'm booing you louder than Lambert got booed. Oh man, I'm gonna get booed out of this stream, guys. Let's go through a couple more comments here, and let's see. This one is from Lord Pelagius. Am I saying that right? He says, with you completely on the MMA guys. I appreciate them telling me who they are. This week though, Dan Lambert and the men of the year are growing on me there though. Oh my god, I cannot read. Let's go through a couple more comments, and yeah, let's go through a couple more here. All right, do we got anything good here? All right, this one is from Devin, who says, oh, this is about something else. Sorry, I don't know why you've been timed out. If you've been timed out, I don't know why you get timed out, guys. No idea why that happens. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and move on from this. Again, I was not a fan of this. Sorry. Moving on. We are going to go into the Acclaims. The Acclaims essentially cuts a promo on the Lucha Brothers. And, we got that awesome rap from Max Caster. My favorite line was when he tells the Lucha Brothers that they wear those masks because they're so ugly. That was funny. We're going to get a match this Friday on Rampage for the tag team title. So that should be a really fun match. So good stuff there. We are moving on to the announcement. So as you guys recall, if you were here celebrating my 100th episode of Speak Now Pro Wrestling. You guys were here when Andrew Zarian essentially broke the news. Andrew Zarian, for those of you guys who do not know, is of Matman here on this network. And he also does a show with me on Tuesdays and with Gary Gonzalez and myself called We're Live Pal. And he was on the stream, and essentially he broke the news that AEW would be announcing the TBS Women's Championship belt. So that officially was announced today. And I gotta say, like, cool. I'm excited about this. Like, I do not mind the fact that we're getting a second women's championship. Do we need it though? That's the question. I don't mind it, but do we need it? Personally, I do not think so. I do not think that we necessarily need it because, I've been talking about how they still need to build up more challengers for Britt Baker. And, there's only been certain options. They haven't gone, like, there's been people would like to see in that position, but they necessarily haven't pulled the plug on that. So I, for one, just kind of think that like it wasn't necessarily totally necessary, but I'm cool with it. Now, in terms of who should be the first ever TBS women's champion, that's where things get interesting. So my pick is definitely Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa, I feel, I feel like she's been the one to, her match with Britt Baker literally was one of the most beloved things that we've seen on Dynamite. Like even today, when I asked people what their favorite, AEW moment was, a lot of people were bringing up that match with her and Britt Baker. Now, Britt Baker has gone on to become champion and, do all of these fabulous things, but Thunder Rosa sort of hasn't really reaped any rewards from that. And she's somebody that is so over, yet we don't get to see her on Dynamite as often as I think we should be seeing her. So I think that having her win the TBS Women's Championship would feel like a pretty big deal. Therefore, you got these really, popular women at the top of their game, essentially being champions. Now, the other thing that I'm saying, some other names that people have been bringing up on, social media. We got Jade Cargill. I saw a couple people saying Jade Cargill. I saw a couple people saying Ty Conti. And I'm trying to think of Ruby Soho was another name that I've been seeing. And I saw a couple people say Chris Statlander. But for the most part, I've been seeing just a bunch of different names, but there are a lot of people who want to see Thunder Rosa. Now, the only reason why I would even say like, okay, if it's not Thunder Rosa, see, like, I feel like Thunder Rosa needs to be it. Like, I'm sorry. I think it needs to be Thunder Rosa. I'm trying to think of like, if it's not Thunder Rosa, I think a good shout would probably be like even Shida, I think would be a good one as well. And Ty Conti, I think would be a good one as well. I really think that Chris Statlander deserves a lot more too. So that would be a really cool one as well. Ruby Soho, definitely she's up there too. But yeah, I just definitely think it needs to be Thunder Rosa, guys. Send in your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's get this conversation going. We got a super chat from Eric. Thank you so much to Eric, who says, Denise watches WWE and complains about Dawn Lambert. She probably likes Little Caesars and hates pizza from Sicily. Okay, so first of all, I was not complaining about Dan Lambert, okay? I was complaining about the storyline not necessarily being great, okay? Now, secondly, just because I watch WWE and I talk about certain storylines that I do not like on WWE does not mean that I have to like everything that I see on AEW. That is something that I think it needs to be okay for people to say, this is one of the things I've been seeing on social media, and quite frankly, it kind of bothers me. People should be allowed to like something, but also be able to criticize and critique something, okay? So I am a fan of AEW, correct? Correct, okay? We already know that. I've come on here every week and say a million great things. Oh, right, cool. Now, that does not mean that I'm going to like everything on the show. Now, again, I didn't say that I was not a fan of Dan Lambert. I said that I was not a fan of the American Top Team coming in here because those punches were terrible and it made it look really bad. And the story for me has not been hitting home, and I would rather see something else. Okay. Now, does that mean that to me should not, like, I'll be honest, like bringing in WWE into this conversation literally has nothing to do with it, because I could be talking about the WWE product and I'll be saying like, okay, I really like something from WWE, but then I really don't like something from WWE. And it's fair to do that. It's fair to do that. All right. So it's fair to do the exact same thing with AEW. And I don't think that a lot of people are always very open to that, but that's part of my show. And part of my show is going to be me being honest. And while I like 1 million things that we've seen, that does not mean I'm going to like everything. Does that mean I hate the product? No, obviously. I'm pretty sure. All right, I'm just going to go on a whim here, and I'm pretty sure that everybody watching the show and everybody watching the replay has a lot of things that they love about a certain show, but there's probably one thing that they're not going to love, okay? That's just human. We're not going to love everything. And then to add to your question, I do not like Little Caesars pizza, okay? And I've never even been to Sicily, so I cannot comment on pizza from Sicily. But thank you so much to Eric for sending in this super chat. See, guys, here's the thing, all right? I just got to be honest with you guys. And if you're going to come in to my show, expect honest opinions and fair opinions, both about whether I'm talking about AEW or whether I'm talking about WWE or when I cover Impact Wrestling or whatever the case may be. We should be allowed to have an opinion without essentially people going like nuts about it or like whatever. So, all right. There, rant over, everybody. Thank you, Eric. You got me heated up, bro. Thank you so much for sending in this super chat. All right, let's go through a couple more comments here. Oh man, I can already tell people are. Oh, Joe, the video editor, says Denise about to drop a pipe bomb tonight. I'm sorry, but it drives me nuts, guys. It drives me nuts when I could be like, dude, there could be 13. Let's just say there's 13 segments on a show, right? I could love 12 of them. And the one that I do not like, it's like, how dare you not like it? How dare you not like it? And I see this on social media. Like, come on, the fact that I literally had to delete a tweet because I said I wasn't interested in Malakai Black versus Brock Anderson. I had to delete that tweet because people were so mad about that. And I was like, what? I'm not talking about killing babies. I'm like, what is this? Like, why was there such a negative reaction to that? And that's one of the things where I feel like we need to allow people to have opinions. We need to allow people to be able to express themselves. I mean, as long as you're not out there being like a terrible person saying like dumb things, you can say you don't like something. You can say something is not your favorite, right? Am I right? Or am I like not right? Ugh. All right, here we go. Let's go through a couple more comments, guys. I'm sweating. Shanna17 says this is a shoot now. Bro, you got me to do a shoot. I was not expecting this. Here we go. And Edward Gonzalez says, wait. Don't you dare hate on Little Caesars. I'm sorry. I don't like Little Caesars. All right, guys. Zachary Brent says, you're losing me, Denise. Little Caesars is dope. I mean, if I'm starving and it's the only thing there, I'll eat it. Sure, whatever. At the end of the day, it's food, but like, it's not my favorite. Bring on the heat. You know what? Little Caesars. Oh, actually, never mind. I don't want to get sued by Little Caesars or anything like that. All right, here we go. We got a super chat from Mr. EMJ who says AEW has more women's matches on Dark than they do Dynamite and Rampage combined. Have more matches first and make the fans interested in other feuds. Build up the women, guys. Definitely build up the women. So here's an interesting thing, and I might as well bring this up now. So when it comes to the women's division, I've been on here and, I'm sure so many other podcasters have been talking about the same thing. And, we see it a lot on social media too, where people are bringing up the fact that, for a long time, the AEW women's division was criticized very heavily for plenty of reasons, right? But they've definitely turned things around and they have, made things like a lot better. We've been seeing more matches. We got, a champion, Britt Baker, who's been a great champion, etc. Right? They really turned things around. But one of the things that I've been talking about, and I feel like I've said this 1 zillion times, is they need to bring in women that more experienced women to work with some of the women that aren't necessarily there yet, because that is a way that you can really build the roster. And one of those people that I think we all thought we were going to be seeing in AEW, or at least a lot of us, I was one of them, was Mickie James. I really thought we would be seeing somebody like Mickie James be brought on because, she's somebody that I think would be such a benefit to the roster. And then so this brings me to my point of where I want to get at, because I thought this was interesting. So today I did an interview with Chelsea Green. Well, I did it yesterday, but I put it out today. In that interview with Chelsea Green, I think that she's somebody that can definitely add a lot to a women's division, any women's division that she's on. However, I thought that it was very interesting that, so I asked her, she's been making appearances on Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and NWA. And I asked her, I said, like, because she mentioned on Busted Open Radio that she was, wanting to do some stuff with AEW, wanting to wrestle Britt Baker, etc. Right? They're friends. Okay. I asked her if she's had any conversations with Tony Khan about, possibly coming in. And surprisingly, she said no, that she has not had conversations with Tony Khan. And I'll just be real with you guys. That was pretty surprising to me. That was very surprising to me because I thought that she would be somebody that could benefit, could bring something, to the roster. So the fact that they haven't had those conversations yet, to me, was very, very surprising. But anyways, that's just something that popped into my head right now that Mr. EMJ sent in this super chat. So let's go through a couple more comments here. We got another super chat from Haj Galashi. Thank you so much to Haj Galashi, who says, wow, Denise doesn't even like Little Caesars pizza. Oh, if it's there, I'll eat it. Fine, but it's not my top pick, guys. Not my top pick. Dude, watch like somebody from like Little Caesars reach out to me and be like, what the hell, Denise? Etc., etc. Oh man, that would be really, really embarrassing. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and move on. So where were we at? All right, so that was the AEW. The last thing we were talking about was the Women's Championship. Let's get into this really quickly. This sit down with Darby Allin and Jim Ross. So this was great. I really like the sit down with Darby and Jim Ross because basically he's, addressing the controversial line that MJF said last week about, his uncle and the car accident and all of that, right? So in the sit down, he briefly mentions that like the reason why he wears face paint is because 50% of him is dead. And then he says that, he's faced death, and this is referencing the car crash. So I really liked this sit down because I kind of felt like we got to see a new side of Darby, kind of a side that we all pretty much pictured was already there based on his persona and based on the kind of guy that we've seen him be on television. But this was really just like this was really him cementing that. So I was a fan of this. After this, we get a quick match where he defeats Nick Comoroto. There's really not much to say, just a win there for Darby Allin. So I like this. I thought that was a pretty nice way to, add a little bit more to his character depth. After this, we had the Dark Order backstage, and basically they all decide that there's not essentially going to be an official leader, but rather they're all going to be making decisions, like a democracy. They're all going to be voting. So I'm assuming if we're all wondering if there's going to be a new leader in the Dark Order, we could probably put these suspicions, these theories to rest. At least this is what this feels like. Like, I don't feel like I should be, trying to think of who the new leader for the Dark Order is going to be, because it kind of seems like they're just going to be doing their own thing. And again, they're all going to be, peaceful amongst themselves. So we can kind of move on from that there. Okay, so after this, we get a promo from Dante Martin. Dante Martin has been a breakout star. He's been one of my favorite new faces to see every week on Dynamite, or whenever he's on Dynamite or Rampage. I've been a fan of his. So he essentially comes out, and I like this because they finally gave him like some talking time. And this to me, like, I think this is like the first time I've really this is like the first time I really heard him speak that I can remember. He basically says that, he's been proving himself the last couple of months, and that, he basically puts the roster on notice and says that he wants to fight anybody that is back there. So the lights go down. Malakai Black appears, and he ends up, hitting them with the black mass. The lights go out again, and I thought that Malakai Black was essentially going to be the one gone from the ring, but instead it was Dante Martin. We end up seeing Dante Martin on the outside, just like thrown on the floor, and Malakai Black accepts his challenge. So we are going to be seeing Malakai Black versus Dante Martin. Now, I'm fully expecting Dante Martin to lose. I'm fully expecting Dante Martin to get killed during this match with Malakai Black, but I am really looking forward to it. Why? Because Dante Martin has been impressing me these last couple of months. When he went out here and he said that he's been, putting people on notice this last couple of months, he really has, and I believed it. So that is why I am actually interested in seeing Dante Martin versus Malakai Black. All right, guys. And we are going to go ahead and move on to really quickly. We also get a little bit more of this continuation with Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. Ricky Starks is out here cutting a promo about the FTW bout. Cage runs in, attacks Ricky Starks, but Hooks and Hobbs come out and rescue him by pulling him out of the ring. And this was a very quick segment here, so there's not much else to add there. I'm still curious as to, what is going to go down with Brian Cage. I think we talked about this last week where it kind of seems like he is unhappy on how he's being used, at least from the sounds of it and what we've been seeing on interviews that he's been doing. It seems like Brian Cage is not necessarily all that thrilled about his position in Dynamite or in AEW, period. Alrighty, everyone. Before we move on to the next match, I do want to remind you guys all that I will be back on Friday to talk about both AEW Rampage and WWE Smackdown. WWE is officially kicking off the Queen's Crown Tournament and the King of the Ring, and it's also the premiere of Smackdown. So we will be talking about that. And then also with AEW Rampage, they've already announced a lot of good stuff there too. So it's going to be a pretty fun show, and that's going to be on Friday. All right, so here we go. Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. And I kind of liked how this turned out. So first and foremost, I was already looking forward to this match because, Serena Deeb, man, I feel like she's always been, whatever opportunity she's gotten, she's always been impressive during those opportunities. But for me, I don't think I really, really became a fan of Serena Deeb until I saw her, perform at Double or Nothing. I thought at Double or Nothing, I thought she was fantastic. I thought she was so good during that. She completely won me over there. And so because of that, I was really looking forward to this match with her and Shida. I will say, I think that they did a great job. They delivered. It was perfectly fun. The one thing that I'm at first, I kind of thought that when they announced that they were going to give that trophy to Hikaru Shida for being the first woman to win 50 matches on AEW, I thought that was going to be a dead giveaway that she was going to win. So I was actually really happy that they didn't have Hikaru Shida win this match. I was so, I kind of liked it because it felt like a dead giveaway. If they were going to have Hikaru Shida win, then okay, cool. You give her the trophy afterwards. But in doing so and presenting the trophy and then not giving her the win, that was interesting. So we essentially see she taps out to the Serenity Lock, and then after the match, Serena Deeb grabs the trophy and breaks it over her head. So in a way, I'm glad that they didn't do a dead giveaway for it here. And let's see what else we got here. We got some Corny Business says same. It was more interesting that she lost. Thomas says it was a perfect hook. Cameron Munford says, I really love this match. I can see Shida and Serena wrestle all night long. They just brought it. Sad that the crowd wasn't into the match as much because it definitely wasn't bad. And then we have people suggesting that they would like to see a Shida versus Deeb best of series. That would be pretty fun as well. And this one's from Justin Martin, who says, I really have to question AEW's creative decision here. They made a trophy for Shida and then she loses the match. This was pretty embarrassing for her. Yeah. And that's the thing, like I said, when they announced the trophy, I thought it was a dead giveaway. I thought she was going to win. I was like, okay, she's going to win. And it's a dead giveaway that she's going to win because they already announced the trophy. Why would you make the trophy and then not give it to her, right? So because they announced the trophy, that was the only reason where I thought, okay, I guess it's good that she didn't win because at least it wasn't a dead giveaway. But they could have just had this match, Shida and Deeb, and then have Hikaru Shida win and then give her the trophy, right? And then you could have still had Serena Deeb attack her or something like that. I don't know. So it is kind of interesting how they sort of played this out and how they planned it out. Again, I thought it was going to be a dead giveaway that she was going to win this match, but I was totally wrong here. Thank you so much to Justin for sending this in. This is a comment from Andrew Cook, who says Serena was starting to turn heel in her last couple matches before injury. They finished turning her heel tonight, but they should have won something at the end to help build another angle. And let's go through a couple more comments here. This one is from Pomi Wrestling, who says, I would have been perfectly happy with Shida winning the trophy like Jungle Boy did earlier this year, but Serena winning completely caught me off guard. This could be a really interesting story, and we need to tell more interesting stories for the women. And I do think that those ladies, both of them, both Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida, are more than capable to do that. All right, guys, here we go. Let's move on to Darby Allin gets jumped by the Pinnacle backstage, but at first they're dressed all in black. This was fun. They attack him. MJF is dressed all in black, but we all know that it's MJF and the Pinnacle. And he chokes him with the skateboard. I like this. I thought this was a fun, surprise attack there. But now let's go ahead and get into that main event. We have the Casino Ladder match where the winner receives a world title match. This was a phenomenal main event. I love this match. We got a bunch of crazy spots during this match. It was so much fun. All right, so we have Orange Cassidy, Pac, Andrade, we have Lance Archer, Matt Hardy, Jon Moxley, and then the surprise, the Joker, Hangman Adam Page. We kind of talked about him already at the top of the show, but they literally just went all out during this match. Like, they used the ladders, they used the chairs, they used the tables, they really brought it. And this was similar to like the opening match where we just saw like a bunch of people just doing a bunch of stuff. But let's talk about some of those moments here. So we got once Hangman Page made his appearance here. We see him. He gets a huge reaction from the people. But some awesome spots that we saw after this includes Pac essentially headbutting Andrade literally from the top of the ladder onto the outside, onto a table. That was a really brutal spot there. We see Hangman Page do a crazy bump from the top of the ladder to Pac on the table. And then we see Matt Hardy do a leg drop on Orange Cassidy onto the table as well. Then we see Page spear the hell out of Lance Archer, and he climbs the ladder, but Moxley ends up getting him with the chair shot. And then after this, we do eventually see Hangman Page get back up there and go for and win the match here. Definitely the right call to have Hangman Page win. He's now going to be receiving a world title shot in the future. So dude, good stuff here. I thought that they really, like, this could have been very, very, I don't want to say predictable. Like, we all knew whoever the Joker was going to be taking this home. But I think that the way that they worked this match and the way that they built up to all of this was really what made it feel special here. So I was a fan of this. Let's see what you guys think, guys. Go ahead and send in some thoughts. How did you feel about Hangman Page coming back? How did you feel about this actual match itself, etc.? And let's go through a couple of comments here. We got a funny comment from Drew, who says he really needs to get a hands on one of those AEW poker chips. Do they sell those? They should sell those. I don't know if they do, but they probably should. This one's from Zachary Brent, who says that this really was one of the better ladder matches that he's seen in a while. They do really well with their ladder matches here. And this is from Pro Wrestling Fan, who says, hey, Denise, left for a little bit, kept rewatching Hangman's return, and was smiling every single time because I'm so happy he's back, and I love Kenny. He was my favorite, but he's too good putting Page over. Sam3 says this was a fun match, sending home people happy. Andrew Cook says, great main event, but Moxley just falling off the ladder at the end lost me for a second. Just needed one more punch at the right time. Shano17 says Archer killed everyone, Hangman killed the bastard, and Lance Archer killed everybody. We also got a super chat from Brandon Rosen, who says, I just love both the Darby segments. This makes me really want to see Darby kick MJF's ass in 2 weeks. I'm also excited about Hangman Page getting his title shot, possibly at Full Gear. It kind of feels like they're heading that way. Obviously, we're, still a couple of weeks away from Full Gear, so they definitely have time to build up to that and, give it a nice build. And considering that there's already so much of a story there, they really only got to start, working their way towards that direction. And I think so. They definitely did so tonight, obviously. Kyleron19 says Hangman entrance pop was great. Builds on the previous Omega storyline. Justin Martin says it feels great to be right about Adam Page coming back tonight. Awesome match. I can't wait for Page versus Omega, presumably at Full Gear. This is a comment from Leonard Aarons III, who says, outstanding ladder match. Hangman was shocked to hear that Cole was in AEW during his interview with Tony. Cole's not fully up to speed on what's going on with Paige and the Elite. Gonna be interesting. Like the fact that this is a good comment. This one's from Riff55, who says, Hangman is so over the crowd booed Moxley for stopping him. The man is a star. Moxley is over as hell too. And the crowd booed Moxley to cheer Adam Page. Like that should tell you literally everything about that there. And let's go through a couple more comments. This one is from Gary, who says, honestly, I really wasn't sure Hangman was going to win. The ending with Mox and Page on the ladder had me super conflicted. Yeah, that was a really nice way to end it. Carry Out Cashew says, I was literally thinking of Mox for the rematch, then Hangman came out, which I didn't think about that, as the casino ladder match is usually for new debuts. And yeah, they definitely utilized it with a return. So that was really good stuff there too. Alrighty, guys, there you go. I think we got a lot of comments in here in regards to Hangman Page and the main event and all of that. So this was a very interesting show. We had a lot of good wrestling. We kind of went through all of it here today. I want to thank you guys so much for coming into the show. I promise you that by Friday, I should have the Twitch and YouTube situation resolved so that I can go live on both platforms. But for those of you guys who tuned in to today's show, I appreciate you guys so much. And I will see you back here on Friday once again to talk about SmackDown and Rampage. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Do not forget to subscribe to F4W Online here on YouTube, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.